What's going on, Pinball Land? Welcome to episode number 15. It's 1-5 of the Flipping Out Pinball Podcast. My name's Ken Cromwell. With me today is Greg Bone. Greg, what's happening with you, buddy?
Just living life, ready for the holidays. Had a great Thanksgiving.
Living la vida loca.
Yes. I'm just in that holiday mode, man. Like I'm just ready for Christmas, ready for all that stuff. Thanksgiving was nice. Zach was gracious enough to give us a 4-day weekend, which was fantastic. Nice. It was nice. So that kind of spoiled me.
I was talking to you earlier. I took vacation when I was in between jobs. So I've taken 4 days off this year. So to get like 4 days off in a row in November was actually pretty nice. I was happy.
It felt so good, especially as busy as what we've been. It's been so crazy. Like it was a nice recharge, man. I think you need that reset every now and then.
Yeah, I was surprised how busy it gets in the holidays. I figured there'd be a little bit of an uptick, but it's been consistent. It really hasn't been slow here, so that's pretty remarkable.
It's crazy how many people you'll be surprised about how many people like buy pinball machines for people for Christmas.
It's crazy, man.
Spouses, like brother. I've seen some like family members, like brothers and stuff, like buy pinball machines and stuff for people for Christmas. For each other. Yep. It's like it's crazy, man. Which is awesome. Like I love that.
Yeah, a pinball machine is an extravagant gift, I think, for most people. But that's the gift that'll keep on giving all the year round for sure.
Well, and a lot of people buy them. Like I think they use it as an excuse too. It makes them feel good. Like it's like I'm gonna gift myself this for Christmas. Early Christmas present to myself, and I think it makes them feel better about spending the money.
I can see that. I I should probably buy my wife a pinball machine for Christmas. I'm sure she would like that. She'd like that one.
I know, like, Chelsea, look.
Right, exactly. Just what you always wanted was this game.
I love that.
All right. So this is what's happening today. We're in December. We're going into the holidays. There's a lot going on the flipping out side of things. We've got a little bit of an announcement we're going to make later on in the show, and that is in celebration of a couple things. One, of the holiday season, right? December, and then two, Greg, we hit the 1,000 follows on Facebook. So thank you everybody that jumped in there and helped grow the Facebook page so quickly. So in less than 6 months, 1,000 up. I will take that. So the next goal is going to be 10,000. Let's see where it goes. We're going to do it live. But we have a nice promotional giveaway contest that's running over 10 days. We'll explain more about that a little bit later. Before we get into our topic of conversation today, I want to go ahead and check in at Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/flippingoutpinballpodcast and get involved a little bit behind the scenes with the show and support the show in a little bit different way. And I wanted to go ahead and we both want to welcome Tim and Jeff, who are new members to the Patreon club. And guess what, Greg? Tim
What's that? Comes
in here. Guess how Tim got in here? See if you can guess.
Maybe from Trace?
Yeah, it's Trace gifts another 1-year sub. Trace sells games and he gifts subs to Flipping Out Pinball Podcast. So I think it's awesome. Really appreciate it, Trace. And welcome, Tim. Welcome, Jeff. Also, another very special mention to Corey. Corey came in middle of November, and Corey sent a little package to us that included a little bit of some things that we can sip and little things that were little cigars, actually, Greg. So that was pretty amazing, man. Really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I got a big shout out, man. We had somebody else who came in with some gracious gifts. Doug, and then his buddy Dave. Dave actually owns Creekside Cigar Lounge over in Cincinnati, so we got a really nice package in the mail from those gents as well. So
crazy,
thank you
man.
so much. Yeah, thank you, Doug, and thank you to your buddy Dave too for running such an awesome establishment, man. If any of you guys are cigar connoisseurs, check that place out because it is actually awesome looking. He sent me some links to it.
Yeah, I would say if you own a business or have a product and you're trying to get some additional exposure, feel free to send those in free to Flipping Out Pinball Podcast, where we will thank you live on the air and send all of the listeners.
I didn't mean to make that a shameless plug, but I guess it was.
It's absolutely warranted. I have no problem with it at all. I think it's actually fun. So guys, really appreciate it. Again, patreon.com/Flipping Out Pinball Podcast, where you can get bonus content, live chat. Chat's been a little polarizing lately, so I don't know if you had a chance to go in there and look, but it's been fun. But check us out over there. And then obviously, Christmas season's coming up. We'll talk more about some promotions that are going on at Flippin' Out Pinball later in the episode. But you can go to flippinoutpinball.com and get your new pinball machine today.
So, Ken, I came across something on Facebook. And man, I thought, this is something probably worth discussing because I had a very different take than a lot of people. I did have people on my side with it, but there was a lot of people that I got a little heated about this situation. And a gentleman that I know, and I'm not good friends with him by any means, but I'd gotten a game from him. Zach had actually gotten it for me for Christmas last year. It was from a gentleman, Brian Kelly, and Brian is up north in Wisconsin, I believe. And Brian is a renowned pinball restorer. He is right there with the best of them. And he had an Addams family, and he wanted right at, $19,000 for this fully restored Addams family. So I saw a bunch of people in some of the on his post laughing at it. They were posting some laughing emojis. And I was, I sat there and I thought for a minute, and I was like, I guess I see where they're coming from and what they're laughing at, but I don't think they're really grasping this. So I simply made a comment that was like, hey, those of you that are sending laughing emojis, I don't think you really understand the time, the amount of money, and the amount of work that goes into doing what Brian does, something like this. And man, Ken, did I open a freaking shitstorm.
You sparked some controversy, Greg. Come on.
Yeah. So because here's my thing, man, is what were HEP games going for? I feel like back in even when I kind of got into pinball around 2015, 16, I feel like if you had a HEP Medieval Madness or something, I thought you were easily 12, 15,000.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. No, you weren't. You weren't off at all.
Yeah, and so you account for inflation, parts, and everything else, and you do. Like I still just don't, because I've added some of this stuff up before. I've shopped plenty of games. I've never done a full playfield swap or obviously a full game restore, but I've done plenty of full topside teardowns.
Yep.
Tumbling, just working on parts. And I know just the time consumption in that. And I had priced because I wanted to restore a Bram Stoker Dracula. And just the parts alone, by the time you take a new cabinet or you do that cabinet, pin sound boards, you do all of this stuff, mirrored back glass, the decals, new playfield, all of that stuff. You clear coat that playfield. Dude, that stuff adds up.
The time that it takes to do all that, the labor alone is, that's skilled labor. That's not, you're not.
Yes. And
carpet.
So that was like, all of that was my argument, man. And you're already starting off with a game that is a decent example, 8,000 to 9,000 already, to start with. So I just didn't find that. And why? Hey, listen, I will 1,000,000% agree. That is a lot of money. It really is. But, and I had some people, I had a good friend that chimed in there too, a local good friend too. And, he had chimed in there and he was like, hey, I've restored a game before and, hey, it takes a lot of time and everything else, but it's no $19,000. And there are different levels of restoration.
Yeah.
There are different, there's different, not only different levels of restoration, but people's work is very different from each other. I'm not taking anything away from my friend. Ken is a really good dude, and he did a really great job on the game that he restored. It was beautiful. But, you start getting into a little bit more complicated games and attention to detail, because that's the thing about Brian. Brian has been doing this for a really long time. And Brian, I think, is absolutely one of the best. He is I was telling Zach one day, I was like, I don't know what separates him from HEP. From the quality, because every detail is the decals, everything are lined up meticulously, like everything is perfect on those games. And you are essentially, because I've got a Terminator 2, and that it was an expensive game, but Ken, when I tell people I've got this restored Terminator and I talk to them about it, they're like, "Oh, that's cool, man." And then I'll have some pinheads and I'll have some people over and they'll see the game and every single one of them go, "Oh, wow." Okay. Because I don't think that they understand the level. I mean, the game literally, the work that he does, those games literally look like they're brand new out of the box.
They are better than brand new out of the box.
Yes.
I've owned a Brian Kelly restored pinball machine. It's the only fully restored game I've ever purchased, and it was a scared stiff. And it was perfect. It was better than new in box. And then when you have like the new kind of technology upgrades, like a color DMD and pin sound and that sort of thing, it brings it to the next level. When I was in the hobby and I first saw the prices on some of the restored pinball machines, I thought it was ridiculous too. I just couldn't wrap my head around it. But at the time, I thought that paying somebody $350 for shipping would kill a deal for me too. You know what I mean? It's just it's a different level.
I still do that.
It is kind of disappointing. It's like you got it all wrapped up. You're like, oh man, this is good. Oh, $350 shipping. It's like and $350 shipping is a bargain now. It happens. It happens.
Yes, it is.
But it's like the two people that were always highly recommended in the hobby were Brian Kelly, who's a super nice guy. I've gotten a chance to kind of get to know him a little bit in the past, and everybody out there in Minnesota is super good dudes.
Oh,
and
Minnesota.
Then,
what did I say?
Chris Hutchins from HEP, right?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah.
Wait, what was it with Wisconsin?
Oh, I think I said that Brian was out of Wisconsin, but I guess he's a Minnesota guy.
Yeah, they hang out in Wisconsin. I think they like to hang out over down at Spooky. They're all buddies. But and then Chris Hutchins is from HEP, which is high-end pins.
Yeah, amazing work.
Yeah, crazy work. And I think Zach has a HEP pin. Because when I was out there, I think he showed me was it a Whitewater or something that was fully restored, beautiful.
Dude, his collection is so nice and everything is so mint from that 90s Bally era. And so I have no idea what is what and what he has from where, because they're all so damn nice.
Yeah, it is crazy. I know you have your Terminator 2 that you wouldn't sell for $50,000. And then I had my Scared Stiff that at the time I bought it for $10,000. Man, that was a lot of money. I sold a lot to get that game. I could talk more about that later, but yeah, I mean, restoration is different than shopping a pin versus refurbishing a pin versus cleaning a pin. I mean, there's a lot of different ways, and it's kind of subjective a little bit too. There's not anything that I've ever seen that categorizes these specifically. It's kind of open to interpretation.
It is. And that becomes kind of a problem because like I'm seeing this more and more too. I will see somebody that says that they have a fully restored pin that they'll list, and they did a shop job, topside teardown, and they re-decaled the cabinet. Yeah, like that's not it, man. If you've got the old playfield in there and it's not a brand new playfield and everything is not meant, I mean, you could still. And again, even if you did, you put in a new playfield in there. And everything, new, old stock, whatever, repro, playfield, anything, there still comes down to a level of, is every screw perfect? Is every post perfect? Did the ones that didn't tumble, that didn't turn out so good, has a few blemishes, were those done? Because that's the level that Brian is. Brian, every single part on there, and HEP's the same way, basically, with anything, I think that, and I won't put anything in Chris's mouth or HEP, but, I feel like that for the most part, anything that they can get new and they can replace or anything that needs to be done, they will on there. And I mean, they're so like,
restored means new to me. As if you just took it out of the box for the first time. It's like brand new. It's factory fresh. That's what restored means to me.
It does me too. And I think partially restored, I don't know, because then here's where you get into
refurbished is different. That's like, okay, I cleaned it up and I got it as close as I can, kind of with what I have here, and it's pretty close to a good example considering how old it is. Like that's like, in my eyes, that's refurbished. You said topside teardown. For those that are listening that don't know what a topside teardown is, that would be when you're cleaning a game, you would take everything off the top side of the playfield, post, mechs, everything come off, and you would clean it up, and then you would repopulate the top side. And you said that you thought in when a game is listed as being shopped, that it should include a topside teardown, or no?
No, so I don't know, man, because I think that you get into, because when I first got into the hobby, I looked at shop as being, okay, it's been cleaned up, maybe a partial topside teardown to get into some of the, plastics removed, maybe not necessarily post and everything, rubbers replaced, playfield waxed, that sort of thing. I always kind of looked at that as a shop job. But then, just recently I saw some people complaining because somebody had said they shopped the pin, and somebody was mad because they were like, the flippers weren't rebuilt, none of the coil sleeves were replaced, all this stuff. And some people were chiming in and agreeing with that. And I don't know if I would ever really looked at that as a shop job, just because I've gotten games that need a good shop job, that need cleaned up, but they don't really need the flippers rebuilt. They're fine. They're still strong. They're still good. The slings aren't sluggish. The pops aren't really sluggish. So I don't know, man. That gets into a very muddled thing with shopping something and how, what you want to do, how you would consider what levels. But there does need to be some gauge. There needs to be some degree and some level, like a level 1 shop job.
Yeah, I agree. Because if somebody says the game is shopped, I feel like I'm paying a little bit extra because the game's kind of it's been gone through.
Yeah,
addressing mechs that needed to be addressed, and if you need to take them apart and whatever you need to do, that it's got to be working. I personally have always expected a topside teardown on a shop job, because I think shop just lends itself to a higher level of cleaning and maintenance. And where I found that some people, and I'm not going to get into sellers, obviously, there's a little tip that I found out the hard way once, because I paid a lot of money to have a Twilight Zone shopped as part of the purchase agreement when I got a Twilight Zone back in the day. I think I've owned Twilight Zone 3 times, and I badly want to own it a 4th time. I'm stuck on that game. Everything looked pristine, clean, loved it. I had to take the apron off for something to address something, and it was filthy. And I was like, all right, you can't tell me that, and because part of the shop was topside teardown. This was not a topside teardown for the most part, because you would have taken the apron off. I mean, it was just, it had coil dust and everything all in there in it. So if someone's telling you, hey, I'm going to do a topside teardown, take that apron off and just take a look at it. Peek under there, because that's the hidden valley.
See, sometimes I won't remove the apron if I'm doing a topside teardown, just because it doesn't matter. Like I did when I did Tales from the Crypt, just because it was so.
Maybe should we edit that out so that people aren't holding you accountable for?
Yeah, they're like, I gotta give them
misrepping shops.
Dirty ass under the apron there. I mean, because when I'll tear something down, if there's something that. Like, I'm not removing the pops. The pops are a pain in the ass. I'm not removing the pops. But I'm basically removing every post, every screw, every ball guide, because I like to polish the ball guides, do that sort of stuff. And then I'm tumbling, all of the hardware, that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'll replace a piece of hardware if it needs it. But see, I'm just tumbling everything. And I think that goes to, like, when you restore a game too, there's going to be different levels of restoration, because some people might replace every single post, like we talked about, every single screw. And then others,
that's almost more of a restoration than a shop job to me. Like if you're
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I said a restoration. Back to like the Brian thing, like separation.
I gotcha.
Kind of bouncing back and forth between the two. But yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd shop a pin and replace all that stuff, just because a lot of times your playfields still have a few issues and a few things. Cabinets a little dinged up. To me, it's not worth going and spending that money for all that new shit. Maybe new star post, just because they can be a bitch to clean sometimes, and clear ones.
Yeah, you
and
get
stuff,
wax in there. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might do that instead of cleaning those and using ultrasonic or something on that. But yeah, I mean, it's just I think subjective.
Again, shop higher level of cleaning and going through the game to make sure everything's working properly. That's in my eyes what a shop job is. I can say, hey, I cleaned it up a little bit. Maybe I hit some simple green with the microfiber towel, went through it, put some wax in the play field, changed the rubbers. I mean, I'm just.
But what's refurbished?
I think refurbished would be a combination between like a cleaning and a shop job, almost, where you're making sure everything is working correctly. Yeah.
I would think a shop job would be more of that. Refurbished would be more of the topside teardown, partially refurbished.
I can see it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm thinking, like, for instance, if I go to Amazon and I'm buying a product and it's like refurbished, usually refurbished kind of hints that it's like new on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like maybe you got a product back and they fixed it and it's refurbished and it came back.
And that's why I was saying I think maybe the topside teardown, maybe, some new plastics. Yeah, that sort of, where you're not at a restore, but.
Maybe we need to set like the grading guide for cleaning and maintenance on resales. Because listen, and the reason that we're bringing it up is because I'm sure most of you that are here listening to the podcast, you either own a pinball machine or you're considering owning a pinball machine. And at some point, if you're buying all new games, that's great. But the used market comes into play when you're looking for games that you can't buy new any longer. And, these are terms that whether you've been in the hobby for 20 years or you've been in the hobby for 2 months, you can tell, I mean, between Greg and I mean, we have different expectations based on how these games are explained when they're being sold as, used games. So it's I don't know that we come to the conclusion on what everything is, but I guess it just makes more sense to list out exactly what you did during, like you said, during your shop job or during your refurb or during your restoration. You shouldn't have to explain. And you brought it up too. You can't just put new cabinet decals on it and the outside of the cabinet looks new and you're like, yeah, I restored the game. Like a restoration is freaking, everything's got to be minty perfect, brand new. That's a restoration.
That's the way I take it, man. And that's why, like, I hold all of those games. And maybe if I didn't own one, I wouldn't think that so much. Like I wouldn't be so adamant about it, seeing it, because somebody said something. They were like, there's no way I'd pay $19,000 for a new in-box game. But let's take into consideration. Let's take something. To me, and maybe I'm far off. Maybe a lot of people disagree with me on this, but take something like a Jersey Jack at $15,000. Now, one can always argue that, hey, look at Harry Potter or look at something and compare that to an Addams Family or a Terminator 2 or a Scared Stiff. That's all fine. But now take, just what's in it. But you can also come back and say, hey, look at Toy Story. Not a whole lot going on in there. You know what I'm saying? Still $15,000 for a CE. So let's take that into consideration, that they're selling that game at $15,000. That is a mass-produced game with cheaper labor. That is, mass-ordered parts. So you're getting all those parts for a lot cheaper. Now let's take somebody who restores a pin to that exact same condition, to where it's literally like brand new out of the box. It's one person building that game with off-the-shelf parts that are more expensive. Like to me, it can, when you're working in that small, you know what I'm saying? You don't have the, you're not a Ford, you're not an assembly line. You are one person now. This is almost like a one-off game in a sense, doing this restoration. It can add, man, you know what I'm saying? It can add.
Well, yeah, I mean, a new pinball machine going down the line, maybe you've got 15 to 25 man hours on that game, depending on what company and what game. Whereas like a restorer, I would imagine, I mean, do you have any idea how many hours like a Brian Kelly puts in? I would imagine it's got to be like,
I think minimum
40 to 80.
That's what I would think. Yeah.
All right.
I think so too. I know that's a huge gap, but I mean, I think at the bare minimum 40. By the time you're screen printing that the back of the back box, you're painting the head, the cabinet you're painting, just installing everything, cleaning up every single part in there. You're adding pin sound. You're adding, all the new speaker panel. You're having to order back glass. Because it's got, most of this stuff comes with mirrored back glass and so forth, whatever you can get. Applying the decals, hell, you know how that is, coming from arcades and doing that. That's not a quick, easy process to do. It's
a trade, man. You got to know how to do that for the most part. Yeah. But Brian's so efficient at everything right now. He's done it forever, and it's funny because now that I think about this, I met Brian Kelly at Scott Denise's house when Scott Denise still had TNA in Whitewood. And Jack Danger was out there streaming the game once or twice. And Scott lives down the street from me. So he invited me out there and he introduced me to Brian Kelly because at the time I told Scott I was looking to get a restored game and that Scared Stiff was on my list. And when I was talking to Brian, and this is how like stupid I was at the time, I was like, yeah, man. I was like, nice to meet you. I love your work. I've been seeing all the pin side threads and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'd love to get a restored Scared Stiff. And he's like, yeah, I think I'll have one. And because he was re-clearing those play fields with like automotive clear coat and everything. Like it was like this massive undertaking. And I said, I'm asking him about the price. So he shoots the price at me, and I'm thinking, all right, how can I save a little bit of money here? So I said, Brian, why don't we do this? Like, yeah, I'll do the full restoration and stuff, except, you don't need to replace all the screws and the nuts and all that stuff. You can just use like the old ones in there, take a little bit off. And he looks at me and he's like, well, it's just kind of what you're going to get. And I was like, oh, okay. Never mind. I'll take it all then. Let's go.
Yeah.
But there's no cutting corners or nickel or diming, these high end restorations. And
no, and dude, it's like I said, Ken, like you're sort of getting a one off in a sense, now.
Yeah, that's a great point, man. That's a one-on-one.
I mean, he's done some others, because here's the thing: is people were in there like nobody in their right mind would pay that for that game. What they don't know is I'm pretty sure that Brian actually did 2 of those Adams families and had already sold one of them.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
it's all in the eye of the beholder. If you're a collector and there's a game that you want and you want the absolute nicest version that you can get of that game, you're going to do something like that. Even if Zach wouldn't have gotten, gifted me that T2, I would have still bought it at that price. I just looked forever for one. It was just a game that meant a lot to me. And I wanted, I wanted the nicest example. Like I wanted to look at that and I wanted to be proud of that game and go, wow. And that's what I do every time I look at it.
What would it take, Greg, to pry that from your hands, that Terminator 2?
Oh, man. I don't know. I would have to ask a stupid amount for that game too, just because of being a gift from Zach. Zach makes fun of me. I don't think he takes the sentiment that I do with gifts. So I just the fact that he was that generous to me means a lot.
Yeah,
and then I just looked for so long for that game. In that kind of condition.
It's cool because he knew you were looking for that game. You know what I mean? And it was restored. I love that. That's a great.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Because you just don't see them pop up at that quality. Again, you see the partial restore, where somebody redid a cabinet, or, you saw a lot of them. It just wasn't my cup of tea. You saw a lot of people that did, and they did a good job on them. They did that chrome edition T2 with the like kind of gray chrome silver graphics on there. But I wanted it to look original. I wanted it to be, as much out of the 90s as possible in there. But yeah, I mean, it's just, again, you just shouldn't make fun of those people in my eyes. Again, I get it where it seems ridiculous for that price on something. But there are people out there that are willing to pay that because they want that nicest example. And again, just start adding up the parts, start adding up the time of what it would take for you to actually go through an entire Addams family and do something like that, or a Terminator. And granted, my Terminator, just because it's a lower end game to begin with in an Addams family, it was substantially cheaper than 19,000, but still an expensive game. But like start adding
18.5. Yeah.
I saved $500 by going with a T2.
Right. We used some of the old screws from the original game in that one.
Hey, I got Brian to knock off $1.65.
Right. It's like, I don't need a shooter rod. I got one at home.
Well, yeah, start just add that stuff up, man. Look into it, or what it takes, and just the time involved in gathering the parts and gathering everything. And, because a lot of people, you can easily just factor in, oh, this is what it would take for me to tear this down. No, think about setting around ordering parts, going and picking up parts, getting a new cabinet, doing all that stuff, that's involved. That's all time consuming too, gathering everything and getting it together. So I don't know, man. I'm not, I don't know. I think I would, that's a hill that I will die on. Is that some of those games can be worth that much. They can easily, a restored game could be $12,000 to $19,000.
I think it's just the sticker shock right off the bat, and price is such a touchy subject for a lot of people right now.
Anyways, it is very much.
It just it is what it is, because then you can say, well, I could get 3 Stern Pros for the price of that restored Terminator 2, but that those 3 Stern Pros don't have the sentimental value and the collectability of really just an anomaly, at like almost a one-off of a fully restored minty Terminator 2. And I would also, I don't even think I need to argue it. I think it makes sense. If you're getting a game that Brian Kelly had done, it adds to the value of that game because he is a very popular restorer.
Because you know what you're getting. It's not Greg Bone restored this game. Because listen, I could do everything that Brian does, and I'm going to have probably some blemishes in the paint. My silk screening on the back is not going to be as good. It might have some dirt and shit underneath the decal. And my decal might be a little askew. It's going to be minor things, but me taking the time to do that game and me doing a full restore on a game is still going to be very different than somebody like Brian or Chris at HEP doing a game, just because they have perfected their craft. They are so accustomed to doing it. They know the inside and out of what they need to do to perfect that. And it's just always going to be a better game. So when I see, and Zach is the one who really hammered this home with me one time. Zach's like, man, he goes, because, he gets so many used games in and has for the, even before he got into flipping out, he did a lot of trading and swapping and flipping games and so forth. And, he was like, man, he goes, I've seen a lot of restored games from people. You be careful. Be very careful.
Yeah, I would agree. You can't throw that term around loosely.
No, no.
And I think, in defense of some of these people, they're not trying to be intentionally disingenuous. They think that they've done a restoration.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing as me, man. There's going to be things that I'm just not, my eye is not keen to.
It's the skill set. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, so you do have to be careful. And I think that, to your point, that's what a game associated with him brings to the table is what you're getting. When you hear a HEP game, I've got a HEP restored game I'm selling. You don't question the quality of that restoration. It lends itself because that name. But I also
I've never seen bad publicity on it either. I've never really seen anybody being like, "Hey, I got this game from Brian or HEP.
No.
Man, it just sucked. Like, I took the apron off and there's a bunch of coil dust under there. It's terrible." You never read anything about that. So you have that peace of mind goes a long way. Also, it's your show pony, right? It's your creme de la creme in your collection. And when people come over, you want to look at it. Now, the question that I have for you though now, and because this is something that I experienced, is do you play it? Because are you afraid of every ball that you put on it is one ball further away from fully restored? Almost like that was the mentality that I had with my Scared Stiff. It drove me absolutely insane.
100%. I don't touch that fucking game.
I will
put so here and this out because this is what's going to set people off right here.
The furniture plastic over it, like in an Italian living room. It's like, hey,
this is what's going to set everybody off as they're like, so if I was to buy, like, you fucking spending $19,000 for a game anyways, and then you're not even going to fucking play it, like, this is even more ridiculous.
I love it.
I will put like. For some reason, so I won't explain why. Actually, I can't explain why. I don't know why this is so. So part of the sentiment of T2, this is the most ridiculous story I will ever tell. So obviously a lot of us that remember pinball, T2 was kind of, right there, that first DMD, nostalgic game that we all saw in arcades, saw setting in, a local mall or something somewhere to play. So, I think everybody has a little bit of a memory of that. I have that memory. I loved Arnold. I loved Predator. I loved growing up with T2. Like, our generation, we grew up with Sylvester Stallone. We had Van Damme. Like, we had everybody that just kicked ass. Like, that was just like, I can do everything. So you grow up with that, and that's great. And I loved T2, but there was a point in my life. So we went to it was right before I got into pinball, I guess. I think our first Christmas in our new house, and we had went to a family Christmas party for New Year's, and I drank, or not for New Year's, but for Christmas Eve, and I drank way too much. Like, way too much. Like, my mom drove Chelsea and I home.
Love it.
And I come home and I cannot sleep in the bed. I still have to put out milk and fucking cookies. And I am sitting there. Room is spinning. I'm about to die. What is on? T2.
Oh, man.
I am laying there focused on T2, just waiting to be able to put out these milk and cookies for the kids.
Ultimate holiday movie.
Yeah, and I ended up watching the whole thing to keep the freaking room from spinning and keeping from throwing up.
That's amazing.
from that day on,
yeah,
that like T2 is synonymous with Christmas for me.
That
like,
yeah, I get it.
It's so I will play that game like mad over the holiday. Like it feels right. It feels good. So I will actually play the hell out of it then. The rest of the year, I might play that game once a month, maybe once every 2 months.
Sure.
And anyone that comes to our some of our Patreon listeners who were in the our live chat
after hours,
our after hours chat, they were privy to some of this too because we got into this. But people that come over are allowed one ball on that game.
One ball, man.
Like one ball. If you drain quick, I'll let you go a full game. But there is absolutely no more than one game on Terminator 2 because
I can see it,
dude. I'm anal like that. I don't like that sometimes when I shop a job or shop a game with plastic ramps, and if I flame polish the ramps or I put new ramps on there, because it's like you said, it's one more ball closer to scuffing that ramp to where it's now a little hazy. It's not where it was, and I don't want the clear coat messed up on that game from ball swirls, marks, anything else, divots.
Yep.
So I will be honest, like I am not that person of you know what, play it. No.
It's here to enjoy. It's like don't even look at it that long. Put these glasses on. Sunglasses on before you look at it.
That was a big long circle.
Turn the Wi-Fi off around this thing. I don't want the Wi-Fi hitting the game. Yeah, it was the same thing with Scared Stiff. I got it and I unwrapped it, and I was because I had to bring it into the basement at the time before I had like the studio set up, and that was terrifying just getting it into the basement. Then you get it set up, and then it was like I had a bunch of friends over because it was an unboxing party for a restored Scared Stiff.
Yeah,
and you open it up and it's just beautiful and it's sparkly and it's awesome and I'm like, but no, don't play it. Nobody play it.
Yeah.
And then I think I put a few games on it, and every like 1 or 2 games, I would take the glass off and I'd wipe everything down.
Yeah.
And then at one point, because I had it in a row, it was a matter of like a week. Remember one of my kids downstairs with like a high-C juice box and put it up on the glass. I about lost my mind. And I was like, I got to get this game out of the house. Like I can't have it down here. I was just paranoid about it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, what if my basement floods one day? And it had never flooded, but what if it did? And it got on my pinball machine. And I ended up, I sold it for exactly what I had into it. Buyer in Texas said, hey, it's Brian Kelly restored. He's like, well, why are you getting rid of it? It's like, you don't want to know why I'm getting rid of it. But it was sad, man. But I owned it for maybe less than a month.
How long ago was that you got it?
That had to be probably 2017.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. And that was a $10,000 game. That was the most I'd ever spent on a game ever at that time. I remember back with a Terminator, because like I said, I looked for one for a long time, and it was probably around 2018 or so. No, 2017, 2016. 2017, I remember seeing one that was restored that was beautiful, and they wanted like $5,500 for it. And I remember like laughing at that, and I was like, ha ha, that's ridiculous for a Terminator. That's crazy. You wish now. Let me ask you this. So you have Terminator 2. If you could pick one more game to put in your lineup that would be restored in the history of pinball, like is there another one that you would like to collect at some point, or you wish you had?
I would so there's
if Brian Kelly said, hey Greg, I appreciate everything you said about me on the podcast that was entitled Why Brian Kelly is Awesome, episode 15. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna gift you a game.
Yeah. For the promotion, the shameless
PR,
plug.
For the shameless plug. What game are you picking?
So I would go with Dracula. That would probably be one of my number one.
Man. I think I remember
Addams Family was one of my number ones. I actually reached out to Brian on that. I just didn't have the money to spend on that one, but I actually talked to him about actually buying that Addams Family. And then this gets really stupid priced. It's probably the same as around that Addams Family, and it's a great game. But I'd probably want an Indiana Jones. Like I've seen like Indiana Jones and Addams Family restored are absolutely phenomenal games, especially when you put pin sound in them and you've got upgraded speakers. Like there is nothing like those games. Like,
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
So probably, one of those three I would go. But again, Terminator was the only one. I would be fine with nice examples of any three of those games.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, I would love to get a fully restored Twilight Zone. But there might be new Twilight Zones coming out. I still think this is one of those weird situations where I would love the modern day tech on a new updated version of a TZ, but like I kind of want the original Twilight Zone, and a lot of it is because I want to throw that pin sound in there, and I want to throw my own custom sound mix into that game.
Yes.
But I don't know, man.
Oh, dude, that's
it's good.
That Terminator, like on the pins, it sold me because like when I first hit the button, so it's got Guns N' Roses on it. It's got Dwight Yoakam, so it's got like all the music, like like when Arnold walks into that bar or whatever, and they're playing Dwight Yoakam stuff, and then it's got Bad to the Bone on it. So when I first hit that, and I hit into a mode and it played Bad to the Bone, I was like,
it's so cool, man.
This is insane.
We have to start. We got to team up with Pin Sound. I've been promoting Pin Sound since I've been in the hobby.
Oh, dude,
every single time.
Product.
And I've introduced myself to those guys like 2 or 3 times at pinball shows. I'm like, hey, just love you guys, love your product. They're like, okay, great. Like, they have no idea. But listen,
I talked to them one time
I've moved
about
some pin sounds in my life. Trust me on that.
And that's what we had talked one time about doing some stuff with them, but it just kind of fell through on our end because it was like a full kit install, and Zach and I were so busy at the time and doing stuff, we just didn't get time to kind of throw that promotion, because I mean it was the full, they got packages with speakers and all kinds of crazy stuff that go in there too. It's not just the pin sound board anymore. So it just kind of fell through. But yeah, I would like to talk to those guys again, because I'm like you, dude. That to me is one of those mods that just, it's like a color DMD or anything. It adds so much to a game. It's so worth the money.
And it's nice too, because if you sell your game and somebody's not interested in it, you can just remove it and you can put it on the next game, which is cool. But
exactly. But yeah, so crazy stuff, man. So you guys comment, talk, let us know what your thoughts are. Again, I'll kind of die on that hill with how much it does take and all the time that it takes to do a restored game. And I understand, hey, you might not be able to get what you paid for out of it. Is kind of, somebody brought up, it's kind of like a classic car. You buy that car after it's restored, don't have it restored, sort of thing. And I get that to an extent, but I still think that if you're looking for the best of the best, that's where you find it, and that's what you're going to pay. Yeah.
If you're listening to this episode right now, go back to our Facebook page and comment, what game would you like to get fully restored, added to the collection? Flipping Out Pinball Podcast. Facebook, do it now.
I know. I'm curious about that. That's awesome.
All right, Greg, so I mentioned earlier in the episode, with the holidays coming up, we're in December, and in celebration of our 1,000 follows on Facebook, we have something that's fun coming up here, and it's called the Flippin' Out Pinball Holiday Run, 10 days of giveaways, and it's going to start somewhere around December 12th. Okay, so December 12th, in that area, 11th, 13th, whatever it takes. We're going to post a small contest or a prompt every single day for 10 straight days on our Facebook page. And all you have to do as the listener is jump on those daily posts for a chance to enter. Okay, now we're not going to reveal what any of the prizes are yet, because the prizes are going to be revealed each day that the contests are running for those 10 days. But each day is going to have its own giveaway, and the twist is we're not going to announce the winners as we go. Instead, we're going to take every single winner, and they're all going to be revealed during our holiday show that's going to be released on Christmas Eve, so December 24th. So it's kind of like, it's our little gift of giving back for everybody being such great supporters and of Flippin' Out Pinball and of the podcast. So what I would encourage everybody to do is mark your calendars. It's going to be the 10 days of giveaways. It's all going to be on Facebook. The big reveal is going to be on Christmas Eve during our Christmas Eve episode. Fun way to wrap up the year and give back, to the people who have been supporting the company and the show. And some of the prizes are pretty remarkable. And, we were able to get a lot of the manufacturers involved to take part in this promotional giveaway. So every day that there's a prize is going to be from a manufacturer, and they're going to be celebrated for that day. So I think that's really cool. And then for anybody that's in Patreon, one of those days are going to be dedicated to Patreon only, and there will be a prize there. So you can go to patreon.com/Flippin' Out Pinball Podcast. And you can join our Patreon for free, by the way. It's not something that you have to join and give money to. So you can, but there's going to be a separate day for Patreon subs. But
yeah, the tiers just when you pay, you just get a little bit more access.
Correct. We can go over the tiers one day, but it's just easier. Go over there and check that out. But that's going to be a fun contest. And I don't know, man. I'm looking forward. I love this time of year. I know you love this time of year, and you're watching T2 on loop. So that's
I do. I have it on repeat.
All right, Greg, we're going to wrap up this episode of Flippin' Out Pinball Podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can go to flippinoutpinball.com for all of your new pinball machine and entertaining gaming needs. Flippinoutpinball.com. You can reach myself or Greg at our email addresses. If you have questions about purchasing a product or would like to order a product, I'm Ken at flippinoutpinball.com, and he is Greg at flippinoutpinball.com.
And just a reminder, it's still early in the season, so anybody looking for any pinball gifts, any accessories, any pinball machines, you still have time before Christmas. We've got some of the fastest shipping in the entire industry. So you do still have time. Don't think that you're out of that. We do now have Walking Dead Remastered Premium and LEs now in stock. And as always, we got that wonderful free shipping for you. Metallica Remastered's nice promotion, Ken, that Stern is running with that, to where that you get a limited foil poster with the purchase of a Metallica Remastered.
The cool thing with that, and there's 4 different posters of the metallic nature for that game, and you get all 4 of them. It's not a random shout out. So yeah, we already had a couple people that took advantage of it. So you get 4 metallic posters with the purchase of a Metallica Remastered now.
And also, with it being the end of the anniversary year, we will be getting the last shipment of Jaws 50ths in. So if you guys have been waiting around for that, we should have some of those in stock with spots available here in December. And again, all of our new Sterns, free shipping.
I'll say this, not to jump in. I mean, that Stern Jaws 50th has sold a ton. And honestly, not to create FOMO, but this is the last chance you're ever going to have to get one that's brand new in box. So if you're on the fence,
like I said, we're out of the anniversary year. So Yep. Yeah. No more will be made after 2025 because we will be out of that anniversary year. So Stern will not be rerunning that 50th. And that 50th has really grown on me. That playfield and those wire forms.
That originally went from like bomb pops to like, we love this game in the course of about a month. So yeah, it was fun.
It has grown on me. It's so stupid. So Stern has vaulted. They vaulted Rush and Iron Maidens. We actually have in Star Wars. I forgot about Star Wars comic. They vaulted that as well. We have one of. I think we got only one Iron Maiden Pro left. Maybe 1 or 2 Rush Pros, and maybe a couple of Star Wars comic pros in. So again, those are vaulted. Stern's not going to be making those. So if you're looking for one of those games, they will end up going fast now that they're vaulted. So take advantage of that. King Kong Art Blades and Shooter Knobs are now in stock. Texas Chainsaw Massacre now in stock. What do you think about that, Ken? We've actually had, dude, this is insane. Like, I'm so glad that we ended up getting a couple of those in, just because that has kind of been oddly out of nowhere. I don't know if because of Halloween and holidays coming around, but I've gotten a lot of inquiries about TCM lately.
Yeah, I do too. 2 inquiries in the last week on TCM. And it's a game I don't have hardly any time on it at all. I got to go back and revisit the game. I think the version of the game that I played mostly was Looney Tunes, and that's a super fun game. But, the horror stuff appeals to me. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just a dark, hard theme.
Oh, it's so
I love it.
It's so good.
I love it.
Yeah, you'll love it. You got to get your hands on it. Also, Zach had made a post. Flipping Out Pinball is now hiring. And I think Ken and I can obviously attest that it is a fantastic place to work. So, if any of you have thought about working in the pinball business yourself, you're a hard worker, you're attentive to detail, you're task oriented, you can make good decisions. I think that we're really looking for somebody that can join the team that has some critical thinking skills, that can take initiative on their own to really focus and figure out problems, work on things, work around the shop, work on shipping, delivery, that sort of thing. Contact Zach, right? Zach at Flippin' Out Pinball, and let him know that you're interested. Send over your resume, your qualifications, and possibly join the team.
Yeah, it's not a remote position. This would be on site there in Southern Indiana. So that's important to realize. I had a friend of mine that reached out because he was considering doing it. And listen, I'll just say, obviously I work here and I've been here for almost 6 months. Never made a better decision career path wise in my entire life than coming over to work at Flippin' Out Pinball. Zach and Nicole Many are amazing people, very principled, hardworking, and they treat their employees very, very well. And Greg, I love working with you. I've never been more happy. Literally, man, I wake up every single morning and I'm disappointed when it's the weekend because I'm not working. I just want to be working and flipping out. So if you're considering it, get your resume together. If you're considering a relocation, this isn't something that, it'd be life-changing for you in many, many ways, but highly encourage it. The only thing that's going to make me a little bit more sad, Greg, is that I will no longer be the newest employee at Flipping Out Pinball. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm ready to pass the torch a little bit.
Hey, that just means that you came on, you busted so much ass.
Yes.
We've ramped up business so much that we're already in need of more help.
I know. I was the game changer that got somebody back on. I'm kidding. But it's a great time. So highly recommend. A++.
Yep. And as always, as Ken mentioned before, keep an eye out on flippingoutpinball.com and our Flippin' Out Facebook page. We've always got exciting new things that we're working on, and 2026 is absolutely going to be no different. We have a lot of things that we are working on behind closed doors. Some taking, take a little bit of a slow burn, a little slow roll of what we're working on. Some things we're working on that are working a little faster, but 2026 is going to be very different.
Massive.
Very
massive.
Yes.
I mean, we got a lot of new product lines that we are ready to roll out in 2026 as we continue to expand and grow the business. So, I mean, we're going to be your one-stop shop for anything game remote related, essentially.
Exactly.
So, what else? You got anything else, man? Are we good here? What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go. For Greg Bone, I am Ken Cromwell. Don't forget to take some time out of your day and play some pinball. So long, everybody.